For this tutorial, we're diving into this amazing, deceptively easy square that looks like it took ages to make, but it's actually quite simple. What makes it so easy is the repetition. You're going to see that we're going to be doing the same thing over and over again throughout the granny square. Once you get the stitch down, you'll be able to do it by heart. Along with that, this square is quick, gorgeous, and guaranteed to impress everyone who sees it. For this tutorial, I'm using a weight 4 cotton yarn with a 4mm hook. It may be hard to see on camera, but there is a slight difference between these two squares. The red one is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 inches, where the green one is 6 by 6 inches. The reason it's slightly smaller is because I tweaked the pattern just slightly. When we get to the portions where it's a chain 5, I changed that to a chain 4. And that was to help with the kind of the holes that you see here. It gets a little bit gappy with the chain 5s, so I wanted to condense it down a little bit. I'm not going to make any alterations to the pattern because the chain 5s help a lot with the memorization of the pattern, so I don't want to mess with that, but I did want to mention it just in case you want to find a way to make your squares a little bit tighter. For round 1, we're making 16 double crochets within a magic ring. You can either do a chain 5 with a slip stitch to form your ring, or you can do the magic ring like I'm going to do here. Wrap the yarn around your fingers, going through the center, pull the yarn through, and create a chain. I'm going to count this as my first chain of my first chain 3. We're doing a chain 3 to serve as our first double crochet. Next, add 15 double crochets into your ring. This will give you a total of 16 double crochets. Double check that you have 16 double crochets. Remember, your first chain 3 does serve as a double crochet. And then when you're certain, go ahead and slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 that you made. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch. For round 2, we're going to be creating what are called cables. And to do that, we're going to be doing chain 5s. So to get started with that, we're going to begin with a single crochet in the very first stitch. And the very first stitch is the one that we actually slip stitched into. So chain 1, and in the same stitch that you just worked into, add a single crochet. You might find it helpful to add a little stitch marker here into the 16th stitch, just so that you don't get confused and work into that chain 1 there. Chain 5, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and work a single crochet into that 3rd stitch. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is the chain 5 that I was talking about. If you find that it's making your cables a little bit too gappy, then you can reduce it down to a chain 4. It's not going to make any difference to the pattern. It's just going to tighten everything up. But I am going to stick with the chain 5 here because it makes it very easy to memorize the sequences. And now we're going to turn and work single crochets around this chain space. Now you can either work into the chains or just around them. I'm going to work around them, but you want to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to turn again, just turn like the page of a book. And now we're going to secure our cable and start our next cable. And to do that, we're going to work a single crochet into that 2nd skipped stitch. 1, 2. To do that, just push your cable forward. There's your stitch. And add a single crochet. Chain 5. And instead of skipping 2 stitches, now we're just going to skip 1 throughout the rest of this round. So skip 1 and add a single crochet into the following stitch. Turn your work, and again add 5 single crochets around that chain. turn. And now we're going to secure the cable and start a new one by adding a single crochet into that skipped stitch. So push your cable forward, go in with a single crochet. And we're just going to repeat this all the way around. Chain 5, skip 1, single crochet into the following stitch, turn, 5 single crochets around that chain, turn, and secure in that skipped stitch. Single crochet. I'm going to continue on, but I'll meet you back here as we're working on our 7th cable. You're actually going to have 8 cables total, but I'll see you at the 7th one. After your 7th cable, you should have something that looks like this. After you've completed your 7th one, chain 5. Now remember, in the very beginning we skipped 2 stitches. We have 1 remainder there that we haven't used. That's where we're going to attach our final cable. But instead of going behind, we're going to go in front. That way we'll still continue to get that lovely fan effect. So here is your skipped stitch from the very beginning. Just push those cables back and go into that stitch and create a single crochet. Okay, and now we're just going to turn and complete our cable as normal with 5 singles. Turn. Okay, great. And now all we need to do is secure it to complete round 1. And to do that, we're going to do a slip stitch into that very first single crochet that we made. So just like before, we're just going to move the cable forward and work a slip stitch into that very first single crochet. And now we're ready for round 3. For round 3, we're doing the same kind of thing. We're doing a single crochet with a chain 5. So we're going to start with a chain 1 to give us some wiggle room. And in that very same stitch, add a single crochet. Next, chain 5. And now we're going to secure that chain 5 behind that next cable in the single crochet that's behind that one. So you can kind of see it under that cable, but if not, you can push that forward and then you can very clearly see a single crochet behind it. Just plop it in there. Your goal is to get a single crochet behind that cable. And we're just going to do this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking for the single crochet below the cable. There it is. Push the cable forward and add a single crochet to it to secure that chain 5. And we're just going to do this all the way around. And now we're on our very last chain 5. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to add a slip stitch into the very first single crochet that you made. So just push the cable forward and look for that very first single. There's mine. It's a little loosey-goosey there, but that's my single crochet. So I'm just going to slip stitch into it. And now we're ready for our next round. Before you move forward, it's always a good idea to just double check that you have the 8 chain 5 spaces. It's much easier to look on the back to count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. For this round, we're going to be filling our chain 5 spaces with double crochets. We're going to do 5 double crochets per chain space. And that's all we're doing for this entire round. So let's start in the first chain space by slip stitching over to it. And now chain 3 to serve as your first double crochet. And now we're doing 4 double crochets to complete that 5 double for that chain space. So 4 doubles. Five double crochets into the next chain 5 space. Okay, there's my 5, working into the next chain space, same thing, just 5 doubles, and just continue this all the way around. When you come all the way around, you should see 40 double crochets in total, and that is including that chain 3 that you started with. To complete the round, add a slip stitch into the very top of the first stitch that you made. I did a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm adding a slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And now we're ready for round 5, and we're essentially repeating round 2. So to begin that, chain 1 and single crochet into the same stitch. And now we're going to chain 5, just like we did in round 2. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and add a single crochet into the 3rd stitch. Turn, add 5 single crochets into the chain space. And remember, if you want, you can add a single crochet into each chain if you prefer. Turn, and we're going to secure it with a single crochet into the second of those 2 skip stitches. So 1, 2, add a single crochet. Remember, we push the cable forward and we go in from behind to make the single. And now chain 5. And instead of skipping 2, we're just skipping 1 now. I'm doing that throughout the rest of the round. So we skip 1 stitch and work our single crochet into the next stitch. Turn, and 5 singles into the chain 5 space. Turn. Just like before, we're going to secure it with a single crochet in that skipped stitch. So push that cable forward, go through with a single, chain 5, skip 1 stitch, single crochet into the following stitch, turn, 5 singles, turn, secure in that skip stitch with a single crochet, and you're just going to continue this all the way around. So I've got 19 so far, and I have 1 left to do to complete my 20. And just like with round 2, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make our cable, but instead of working behind that first cable, we're going to work in front of it. So I'm going to chain 5. I'm going to attach it into that single crochet, that very first one that we skipped over. Remember, we had 2. Well, here's that 1 remaining single crochet that's available right under that cable. Go in front of the cable and go into the top of that single crochet and make my single. And now I'm going to turn, add my 5 single crochets, turn, and secure it in that very first single crochet that I made with a slip stitch. Double check that you have 20 cables, and we're good to go. For round 6, we're just doing chain 5s again like we did in round 3. So we're going to start with a chain 1 to give us some wiggle room. And then in that same single crochet right below, we're going to add a single crochet. And essentially we're behind the cable. Chain 5. And just like before, we're going to find that single crochet that is behind the next cable and kind of below it. Push the cable forward and work into that single crochet. Chain 5. Look for the single under the next cable. There it is. Push your cable forward and work your single crochet. The only difference between the previous round that we did this is you're going to end your last chain a little bit differently. So continue on until you've done 19 chain 5s, and then I'll see you for the 20th one. Okay, I've done 19 chain 5s so far, and it's much easier to check your count by looking on the back, I've found. So just double check that you have 19 so far. What we want to do is finish in the middle of the chain 5. So we're going to do a chain 2 and then a double crochet, and then that will land us into the middle of that chain 5 essentially. So chain 2. And instead of doing a slip stitch into that first single crochet that you made, you're going to do a double crochet into it. Now, here's my very messy single crochet. I stretched the yarn up to make that stitch, so I apologize for what a mess that is, but look for your very neat and tidy single crochet that you made and add a double crochet into it. And as you can see, it puts you into the middle of that chain 5 space. And we want that because we're starting our corners. We're going to start squaring off our square now. So to do that, we're just going to be working with treble crochets, double crochets, and half double crochets to help straighten everything out to make a beautiful square. For our corners, we're going to work with treble crochets. So to begin, do a chain 4, to serve as your first treble crochet. If you've never done a treble crochet before, I'm trusting that you have, but I'll show you how it looks. Just yarn over your hook twice, go into the space, pull your yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is a treble crochet. So essentially we've done 2 so far, and we want to do 2 more. So yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. One more time. We have 4 treble crochets for our very first corner. We're going to work all the way around and come back to this corner to complete it because we want to have a total of 7 treble crochets when we're all finished. But we're just doing half of it, so it'll give a really nice clean finish. Now the pattern that I saw used double crochets and single crochets. I'm changing that a little bit here with double crochets and half double crochets. And all we're doing here is filling our chain spaces with those stitches. So in this next chain 5 space, do 3 double crochets, In the next space, do 3 half double crochets. Typically, the pattern will say 3 singles, but I found it just kind of made a dip. It didn't look right, so I've replaced it with half doubles. In the next space, 3 half doubles. And now working our way back up, because we're getting near our corner, another group of 3 double crochets in the next space. And now we're back to our next corner. For our corners, we want 7 treble crochets. Phew. That's a lot of trebles. And now we're just going to repeat this all the way around. So if you look here on our corners, we have 7 trebles. This will be 7 when we're all finished. But in between, you'll have 4 chain 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 doubles. And we're just going to continue on with that same sequence. 7 trebles in the corners. 3 doubles, 3 half doubles in that next chain 3 space, 3 more half doubles in the next chain 5 space, building our way back up in the next space, 3 doubles, and we're back to our corner, which is 7 trebles. Now I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do all 7 again. I'm just going to put the sequence on the screen and I'll see you at the very end. Okay, we are nearly finished. I've completed my last space with 3 double crochets, and now we're back to the very first corner. We have 4 treble crochets so far, so we just need to add 3 more into that same space. And then to complete the round, we're going to slip stitch into the very top of that first treble that we made. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch. And for our very final round, we're just going to do single crochets all the way around. You're going to do 3 single crochets in your corner, and then on your sides, there's 18 stitches available for each side before your corners. So here we are in the corner. I just did a slip stitch. In that same space, I'm going to go back in and do 2 singles. And then moving onto the side, I have 18 stitches available on my side, so I'm just going to do a single in each. That's my 18, and that will land you into the very center treble, so the 4th one in, that's where you're going to do your 3 single crochets. That's just to help you get around that corner. And now you're just going to continue this all the way around, a single crochet in each stitch on the side, and then 3 in that 4th treble in the corner. Coming up to the end here. In the 4th treble, I only did 2 singles, so I'm going to add 1 more in there to complete the round. And fasten off. And that's your fisherman's ring completed. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? And just as a quick reminder, if you want it to be a little less gappy than this, replace all of those chain 5s with a chain 4 and even go down a smaller hook size to help tighten everything up. If you'd like some ideas on different ways that you could join the squares together, I'm going to pop a video here for you to check out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like is always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.